Hello and welcome to Kentucky Brew Reviews. I'm Radar.
Special K. Now we're doing a top 5. This is going to be top 5 Oktoberfest picked by Kentucky Brew Review.
Mm-hmm.
Now we debated on these as a group, and then we decided on our list. We are going to do an honorable mention starting off, just because we feel like these beers should be mentioned. They're good beers. They just didn't quite make the list.
Mm-hmm.
The first one
makes me happy.
First one is Victory's Fest beer. It's Marzen. That one is an honorable mention.
It's a good choice.
It's a good beer. You can't go wrong with it.
It's very available.
Radar, what's your honorable mention?
Hofbrau. Their October. Their Munich and October. It comes in specifically the kind that comes in the mini keg. It's got to be in the mini keg to make the honorable mention, because that's just the correct amount of beer for Oktoberfest.
We've done it on the show. We have done the mini keg.
It's very important.
Twice on the show. So you guys can catch that. I'll put the link in the description.
They had them for $5 at Jungle Gyms.
That's not.
That one time we went there. Was it
surprising.
$10? It was either $5 or $10. Either way, I was like, I'll get 2 of these.
So we are drinking some Oktoberfest. I'm drinking Port City's Oktoberfest.
I've got anger.
The traditional German Oktoberfest. So number 5. Now, number 5 might be slightly controversial to some people, but there's a couple reasons it made the list.
It's going to be controversial to a lot of people.
And it's Samuel Adams Oktoberfest. Mm-hmm. I feel like Samuel Adams Oktoberfest did a couple things right. One of the things is they helped introduce Oktoberfest-style beers to the United States. I feel like before that, you didn't see them very often, you know what I'm saying? Especially from German imports.
Okay.
Another thing they did really well is getting mass quantities of Oktoberfest in reasonably priced containers. They sell 28 packs of bottles for pretty cheap.
That is true that they do that.
And
I was overruled on this, by the way. I wanted the Hofbrau to be... I wanted that to be an honorable mention.
Well, see, Steele would agree with me on this one.
He does. It's fair. It's a fair point to bring up, but Hofbrau. Mini kegs.
I think they're overrated.
So
they're on there. Availability, price, because if you're going to find you're not going to find a more available Oktoberfest than Samuel Adams.
You can buy Oktoberfest from Samuel Adams literally everywhere.
So that's why it's on the list. It's a great
anywhere fine beer is sold.
It's a good beer. I would say it's a great beer, but all those other factors puts it up above some of these other ones in my opinion. So, all right, Radar. What's the next one? Number 4.
Local beer.
It's fair.
Local beer.
We only put one local beer on this list, to be fair.
But it's a good pick. It's a fantastic pick. Country Boy, Oktoberfest. They did their Oktoberfest right. I think they deserve to be on any top 5 list of Oktoberfest beers.
I will say one thing about the Country Boy Oktoberfest is, I don't know, it's something about Country Boy beers where their beers almost always taste like they're draft, even in a can.
I think it's just because their distribution network is so small that you go to the store, you get beer that was made like a week ago. It's really fresh.
They sell really well, but I mean, the Country Boy Oktoberfest, it's got all the characteristics you want in a good Oktoberfest. Plus, for us, it's pretty available. And we did want to put something. We wanted to put at least one local beer on the list. But all the rest of them should be readily available to everybody.
Yeah. It's just a good beer.
So, if you don't know who Country Boy is, they are a local Kentucky brewery from Lexington, Kentucky, just to point that out. And they're distributed in the surrounding states all the way to...
They just increased the number of states they distribute.
I know it's like St. Louis, Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee, West Virginia, and I think a few other ones. Maybe Kansas or something. All right, so on to our number 3. Our number 3 is going to be Spaten. Spaten is, if you didn't know this, made by Anheuser-Busch. A lot of people don't know this, so InBev owns the company.
And a lot of people get really mad when you start bringing them in and being like, this is a great Oktoberfest beer.
So there's 2 things that I don't like about Spaten. One, it's owned by InBev. And the second thing I don't like about it is they're in green bottles. So the green bottles, which I don't like. But the beer itself is really, really good. It is still actually imported, unlike a lot of InBev products where they say it's imported, but they make it like Milwaukee.
This comes from Texas. That's a different country, right?
Yeah. The reason I don't get as mad about the green bottles is because they do their 6-packs go high up the bottles and they foil wrap the necks.
They do.
So and Oktoberfest is out for such a limited amount of time. I
think they knew what they were doing, because foil wrapping the necks is really kind of the only way to do that, unless you get it in cases and do a lot of extra work.
Not put it in.
You can put it in a brown bottle.
Right.
You could definitely do that.
Or just like our number 2 beer.
Brings us to our number 2 beer. Einger! I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that. I'm not 100% sure. It is a really good Oktoberfest, though. Very, very full. Like, it's almost oily. It's very thick. Sweet and bready and just delicious. It's very refreshing.
It is a great beer.
Drink this for the rest of my life.
When you get to the German style, actual German Oktoberfest, like Spaten, like Einger, and then, like Hacker per Shore and some of the other ones like that, the German ones typically come through with a lot of grassiness, and I'm sure it has something to do with their Germany purity law on their beer and all that stuff. Not going to go into detail.
Beer.
Not going to go into details on that one. But great beer. It was hard between this one and our number 1. But
I'm still having a hard time deciding whether or not it belongs in the number 1 spot. But you go ahead, yeah.
I think via crew vote is the reason that number 1 made it to where it is.
There's overridden a lot in this. Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, there are other people here other than you.
My opinion is more important than
my vote counts
theirs.
as 3.
No.
And yours only counts as 2.
My vote's very important.
No, I'm joking. Paul Enner's Oktoberfest. So their Paul Enner's Oktoberfest is our number 1. It doesn't get much better than that one. And this is, again, Kentucky Brew Review's personal. It's the whole crew. We all talked about it.
And just ask the Paul Enner's people. There's good beer, there's better beer, and then there's Paul Enner beer. That's their slogan.
Yeah. Is that even how do you say that name? Paul Enner, is that right?
I think it's like Paul Enner.
It's probably something weird.
Anyways.
Number 1, great beer. Definitely should try it. And again, there are a lot of Oktoberfests out there. There's really only I would say we've done 50 or 60 on the show, and I would say there's only 4 that I would avoid.
Yeah, no, there's really not that many bad ones, but when you do come across a bad one, you're fully aware that it's not quite right.
Yeah, so Narragansets wasn't particularly good.
A lot of them are just trying to do something that they shouldn't have tried to do.
Duclaw was another bad one. Like I said, we could probably count on one hand all the bad Oktoberfest. So you really can't go wrong.
Duclaw takes up 2 fingers, though.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with trying new Oktober. That's not funny. Try new Oktoberfest. So we do recommend going out and trying new things.
That's hilarious.
And Paul Enner is very deserving of the top spot, I think. And it doesn't have anything to do with them sending us free beer a few years ago.
No, but they are really good.
So another thing that I like about Paul Enner is this year specifically, if you haven't went out and found their beers, some of the bigger liquor stores has their fest beer pack. So it's a huge dimpled mug with a weird size can of Paul Enner. It's like a 29 or 30 ounce can. It looks like a can from the 70s.
It's like specialty made.
It looks like it's from the 70s. The can looks like a 70s style can. But it is the coolest pack. It's $10, which is a little high. But I mean, the mug is pretty good quality. So
it's Oktoberfest. You've got to go above and beyond for Oktoberfest.
The can fits very tightly into the cup, which is nice. There's no rattling.
When you pull it out, just go.
Almost.
It's very.
I probably never heard that
makes
sound
me happy.
Before.
It's a bit dry humor. But anyway.
Well, if you'd like to see another top 5 on the channel, feel free to leave the comments down below. I'm Special K.
I'm Radar. Thanks for watching.